How'd you sleep?
Good, considering how thin this mattress is. It was more comfortable than I thought it would be, actually.
First day on the road again. Feels good to be back out here.
Smile!
We didn't have the most eventful start to the trip. We just woke up at a rest area for our first night on the road just along I-95. But we are now making our way north. We're gonna start heading up along the Florida coast and exploring over here for a little while. We're hoping to spend the afternoon at the beautiful Flagler Beach here. First time I've ever tried that, heating up a microwavable meal like that on the skillet on the stovetop there. Worked pretty well. I guess the trick though was that I defrosted it ahead of time and left it in the fridge overnight and then made it for lunch today, but probably gonna try that again in the future. I'm trying to just give Shannon some space in the camper right now. She's got a couple of meetings today and she's gonna have a bunch tomorrow as well, so I wanna stay out of her hair as much as I can. Try to avoid like banging pots and pans around. I can imagine that can get pretty distracting. The sand at this beach is pretty unique. It's like very coarse and it's like this like orange color almost. Don't really see anything like it anywhere else. I mean, this isn't the first time that I've seen it. I've been over here many times over the past 10 or more years. I think I even came here on the channel last year in our element. I took it over here and spent a night or two, but it gets me every time. It's pretty cool. Did you have a good first day back on the road? First full day?
I did. It was a good day. I'm really out of practice of vlogging. This is really embarrassing for me.
Oh, it's quiet, cool evening here on the beach.
Really cold.
Yeah, it's chilled off quite a bit. We also are realizing that there's quite a bit of hurricane damage, apparently from Hurricane Ian that came through. Yeah, it is. I looked it up online, so it's confusing because there was a storm after Ian, Nicole. But Hurricane Ian was the one that did damage, and actually, if you notice, if you look really closely at the pier, half of it's hanging off. It's pretty crazy. They're fixing it. It looks like it's under construction and stuff, but there's definitely some effect here for sure. So we're going to be a little boring again tonight and try another rest area just along I-95 as we slowly make our way up north. Tomorrow we are planning to do a harvest host, which will be the first time that we've used harvest host since we had the high ace quite a long time ago. So I'm really looking forward to that. We'll share that with you guys in the morning. For now, we're just going to give this rest stop a try. Spent a good portion of the morning working at a nearby Starbucks. Shannon was in the camper again doing a few calls, and I was in there doing some editing. And now we have arrived at the harvest host that we're going to stay at tonight. Looking forward to it. It'll be the first harvest host that we've stayed at in a while. It is actually at a golf course here in St Augustine, so I'm going to go check in and try to play a few holes. course is pretty interesting. It's probably the best way to describe it. Like, the layout is really challenging. These holes are very narrow. It's tough to keep the ball in play. I lost a lot of balls on the front nine. I've settled in a little bit on the back nine here. I'm getting a little more comfortable, but it's just really interesting. You know, the reviews online, it's called Royal St Augustine, and they are not very good. That's one thing that I noticed. You know, a lot of folks say that the condition is terrible. It's not really in good shape, and you know, I'm not really a stickler for condition. Like, I'll play basically anywhere. I'm looking for the most affordable rounds that I can play, and if the course is in good shape, then that's always a plus. And out here, you know, it's really not in the best shape. I know this isn't a golf channel, so I'm not going to go into too much more detail, but you know, it ended up being like $30 to ride 18 holes this afternoon. Not too bad. It's a beautiful day, and then we have a place to stay quietly tonight. We can pop the top, set up camp, and it'll be a heck of a lot better than a rest area. Home sweet home for the night. We are actually pretty close to downtown St. Augustine, so I think we're gonna head over there, explore the Old Town area, probably grab a bite to eat for dinner, and then come back and set up camp for the night. Like I said before, we will get the top popped. It'll be nice to have some more space, and that'll be the first time that we've been able to sleep in the upper bunk since we've been back on the road. I will say, in terms of harvest hosts and golf courses, I think I've done 3, maybe 4 of them to this point over the last year and a half since we've had our membership, and most of the time the courses are very similar to this one. Not in terms of layout, but in terms of, like, the condition of the course, I think is probably the best way to put it. I mean, and maybe that's just a coincidence that I've found some that are just kind of in rough shape like this, but I think it makes a lot of sense that the courses that are going to allow RVs and vans to sleep in their parking lot are not going to be the fancy high-end courses that have immaculate fairways and greens. You know, they're going to be courses that are kind of in rough shape, that might be hurting for business and wanting to try to get as many people in the door as possible. So it is what it is, though. Like, for the price, I think it was definitely worth it. It was an amazing afternoon, and the best part is we will have a quiet, safe place to spend the night.
Just in case you miss Christmas, come to St. Augustine, Florida. It stays for weeks after. Do we know why?
Nope. Is it better than my grilled cheeses?
It's definitely fancier. It's better. Look at the Fountain of Youth.
That's the Fountain of Youth. Go for a swim.
All right. It's definitely not the Fountain of Youth. I've been lied to. It's called Flagler Fountain. Say that 5 times fast.
Cozy evening at the golf course.
How are you settling back into van life?
Pretty good. It's been nice weather, not super hot, so it hasn't, you know, I haven't felt gross yet, which is a big plus, because the last time we were in this area was like July of 2020. It was kind of unpleasant.
This is much nicer.
Yeah.
Wearing sweatshirts and pants and stuff.
Yeah. And it's been a while since I've been on the road, and I'm just remembering, like, how much stuff you have time to do when you're on the road, because you don't have to, like, commute back to a house. So you can go out and walk around historic downtown St. Augustine in the evening, and you don't have to worry about driving all the way back to a different town to go back to your house. And it's really nice.
What did you think of the first harvest hosts? since being back on the road.
It started out strong, and at 6:30 a.m. took a little bit of a dip.
A lot of the maintenance workers showed up, which is to be expected at a golf course early. But then they proceeded to have like a, half-hour conversation?
Yeah, they were chumming it up.
Just talking about how they make bogeys all the time and other golf-related topics. And I woke up at 6:30 and haven't fallen back asleep because that was my alarm clock, I guess. But you got to sleep a little bit more.
Yeah, I fell asleep again. Hit the road.
Well, overall, I guess the first couple of days back on the road have been pretty good. I will say that I'm pretty exhausted. I feel more tired than usual, at least, you know, in the past on being on the road. And I think part of that's just because, like, the beds in this camper are not super comfortable. I find myself waking up all night, tossing and turning, and I don't have that mattress topper that I had in here before that I was using in the lower bunk when I first hit the road in this camper, because now the bed down here is quite a bit bigger and it wasn't going to work for two people. So I have to look into maybe getting a different mattress topper, maybe something that I can use for both the upper bunk and the lower bunk that'll fit both Shannon and I, and I'll have to look at some options. Definitely something that I'll be thinking about over the next couple of days. That being said, we are kind of making our way up towards Jacksonville at the moment. Shannon is actually going to be flying out of Jacksonville later this afternoon and making her way towards San Francisco for about a week to do some work over there on the West Coast. And then she's going to be flying back to meet me in Orlando. So I basically have a week to get from Jacksonville to Orlando. Unfortunately, there's not going to be a whole lot of waves, so I don't know if I'm going to get the chance to surf. It's looking pretty flat, but I'll try to find a different adventure and try to find something else fun to do. I'm sure I'll be able to find something, and that'll all be part of the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you all in the next one.